So in this video, I wanted to talk about the real things that I've learned from 4 years of being a university student. These are not the common law, the civil law traditions. These are lessons that I have learned just through being a student, just through being at university, through not living at home, through being in a different city. And I think that these are relatable. So yeah, hope you enjoy, and let's get straight into it. How to budget. Now this one might come as an obvious answer, but as a student, you're probably in one of the first stages of your life where you actually have money coming in from either a student loan or from your parents. And you have to funnel that money into various different places. And it can be super overwhelming because we don't have that experience when we live at home with our parents, because essentially they're paying for everything, right? We are still not responsible for ourselves economically like we are at university. So after 4 years of being a student, I now feel like I've gotten those kind of basic skills in terms of managing my money, and like just knowing that I want to have some savings on the side just in case I want to do traveling. Learning to deal with finances is a really cool lesson that university just teaches you, because you really are thrown into the deep end in that sense. My second life lesson from university has all been about learning to value my space, and I think that this one comes in the form of moving every year. So as a student, normally every year you tend to change houses. You go from halls to like a student house, then to another student house, and then another one, or whatever it might be. But I think that I've now lived in like four different university houses, and through each of those experiences I've definitely valued my own space more and in a different way. And that's really cool because I now know what I want and what makes me feel good in terms of like what atmosphere, what kind of ambience I want my bedroom to be, kind of my living space, what kind of room I want to have, whether I need light, whether I don't mind it being a bit dark, whether I want to be on the ground floor. These things seem kind of like menial things, but actually they're very important. We talk about self-love and being kind to ourselves, and ultimately our bedrooms are where we sleep, where we have all of our things. They should be a safe space for us. And so throughout my 4 years at university, I've definitely kind of grown into that and recognized that it's not always about having a really cheap rent every month, but actually investing in your home as something that is going to do good for you and is going to bring you happiness. Number 3, it is all about friends and relationships. I have learned that a smaller circle is a lot more valuable than just knowing lots of people. I have spoken about this in my relationship with Bristol uni video. In first year, I was very much the person to want to know everyone, want to have loads of friends and just be out there making lots of new connections. Whilst I'm still kind of like that, and I do value having a big network, I have been working on just having like a circle of friends who I know I can trust, and we have that mutuality of confidence, of love, of kindness. But knowing that circle's there and keeping that strong and tight, just reminding myself that you can't really have 1,000 close friends, because ultimately true friends and those friendships that are valuable and are worthwhile, you are invested in them. And so to think that you can have like 100 close friends is not sustainable, because ultimately you're just exhausting your energy. Number 4 is how to look after yourself. You're independent. You need to learn how to cook, how to wash your own clothes, how to keep your bedroom clean. And these are just critical life lessons that we don't always have until we are forced to get them. So things like cooking, like of course I liked cooking when I was younger, but I didn't make meals for myself or like cook for myself 3 times a day or plan meals. And that's something that I now love doing, and cooking has become my own form of self-expression, a real form of my self-love. And that's really cool, because that has all come from this kind of period of my life where I've been forced to gain those skills, basically necessary for survival. Because if you don't cook, you're going to be eating outside, and the food that you eat at restaurants isn't always the healthiest. It's not sustainable because it's expensive, and we can all make amazingly nutritious meals at our fingertips, right? So why not learn how to cook? Well, that's something that you will learn at university, hopefully. Okie dokie. My number 5 is intercultural awareness. Being around such a vast community of students who come from so many different places and have such different cultures, and if you are like me and you want to learn more about the world and its people and you want to appreciate that, I would recommend anyone starting at university to join lots of different societies, to meet different people, to branch out into areas where you wouldn't normally go into, and meet international students, because we're constantly learning as humans, but I think we also learn a lot about ourselves and about the world through other people. So the people that you surround yourself with are ultimately like some of the biggest sources of your learning on a day-to-day basis. I've also used that as a springboard into learning about different cultures and different languages, and being more aware that there is more to life than just what I know. And my experience of the world is just, you know, it's 0.00001% of the entire thing. So to be mindful of that and to be willing to branch out your awareness into other spheres is being intercultural, it's being mindful, it's being aware, it's being compassionate. And my sick lesson has been, and this might sound cringy, but it's so true, failing is actually succeeding. And shout out to Elizabeth Day, her amazing podcast, How to Fail with Elizabeth Day. It is so true, right? We go through university, we get bad grades sometimes, we fail some of our essays. That is just a part of your journey, and if you are resilient and if you keep trying your best, ultimately you will change those grades and you will do better and outperform yourself. That initial failure that we're faced with actually in the long term turns into a success. My final lesson from university has been very important for my own lifestyle and for my own personality. It is about how to be efficient, people, and efficiency is key. Like, being organized, being on top of your shit is something that just helps you out in so many ways, because it means that you can also lead a more meaningful life and a more happy life where you're working joyfully and not hard. When you come to university, you're ultimately just given a huge chunk of time where you might have a degree to undertake and work to do, but you also have social responsibilities. You want to explore a new city, you're going to learn new skills and gain new hobbies and meet new people. So you basically have like a lot of different projects whilst also being a student, and that time is so valuable if you make the most out of it and if you organize yourself. The main way that I organize my life is through Google Calendar. You can just have your iPhone, your laptop and your iPad or whatever it might be all hooked up to the same thing, and I just know what's going on like months in advance because I've put it in my calendar. But I also plan through writing and my journal. Being efficient is a good skill to have, whether you're going into the world of work or whether you just are a very dynamic person who has multiple hobbies and multiple interests. I like keeping busy, I like doing a lot of things to keep my brain active, to keep my body active, to keep my spirit alive. So I'm very grateful that I've learned this skill of how to be efficient, and I do feel like I'm now going into the world post-university with this key skill at my fingertips. And the more that you do it, the more that you organize yourself, and the more that you push your own boundaries, you're ultimately just outdoing yourself every time and realizing that we can be super efficient. At the same time, that's not to overstate the importance of not being efficient sometimes and just being relaxed and very chill. Like, that's also super important, but I think a balance is always necessary. So I'm very grateful for all my life lessons that I've shared with you today, and I hope that any students out there who are also graduating with me in a few weeks' time can relate. If you are a student, write down some of the big life lessons that you've learned from university. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, give it a big like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you very soon for a new video. Bye!